I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
Okay, so um, um, I'm going to continue um, from my last live stream, the last two live streams. I think what is not being understood, what's not really is being understood among men and about men, and why some men go to the red pill. Why some men goes to the black pill. Um, Going into that black pill, right? There's certain realities where there's certain realities that young men was taught, right? A lot of us was never taught this. We thought, we thought falling by the rules, and I'm gonna use myself, 20 years ago, up until recently, right? From my late teens up till, I want to say, around age 38, right? The first 18 years of adulthood, or 20 years of adulthood, right? I always try to play by the rules. I try to, um, and I'm sure many men of good standing, I'm say it again, men of good standing. Um, a lot of us try to do things the right way. You know, you get this, you meet a girl, you know, um, you try to build with her, and so forth. And when you build with some, and see, for me, I'm talking about myself on this regard. I wanted to do it the right way, and a lot of men wanted to do, a lot of guys at the time wanted to do things the right way, the proper way. And the problem is, a lot of us ain't getting what we work for in return. And that's why you got a portion, and I'm only saying a portion, it's not all of them. There is a portion of certain men going into the red pill and black pill ideology, because some of us was taught in the church. You know, some of us was raised by conservative parents or strict parents, and, oh, you must have this before this, and, you know and then the older men in our community will be telling us, well, you need to have this by this certain date, and if you don't have this by a certain date, then you are a loser. So there is somewhat of pressure, uh, peer influence type pressure, um, inside of young men's heads, and that's why I said I blame I blame that church, and I blame you know the I blame that church for putting uh um prerequisites on younger men, and also blame um older black men for being um those who hang around in the uh who politic themselves around uh, the liquor store, you know, trying to browbeat you into having sex early or getting relationships early. And then though on the flip side, there's also another pressure point. If you are a man and you don't have children by the time you're 35, then therefore you are a homosexual. If you're not a man at the age of 35 and you never um been in a long-term relationship with a woman, you are determined to be a you know some of that alternative lifestyle. So it goes on both ends, and the women do be pushing that on the other end, of the spectrum, right? And because of the pressure, a lot of men go to the red and the black pill ideology, and nobody don't want to be honest about that. And I learned about this, when I was 27. When I was 27 years old at the time, it dawned on me that it seems like, and I'm talking about myself as a 20 something year old at the time. I said, I given up, right? They thought that was the saddest thing ever, right? And it could be sad though, but at the same time, why should any man have to prove himself over and over and over again, and he's not getting that result? He's not. You know, he has to prove himself. Um, and it's not just in black culture. I know people in this space are mostly black, so I'm trying to talk above the race part, right? I'm talking above the race part. When it comes to Asian men do that. Older Asian men do this to younger Asian men. If like what's going on in Japan is a prime example, right? And what goes on in Asian American community as well. In order to make a business deal, all right, you could be somebody who could be making you could try to you're creating a product, and this product you're trying to sell, right? And in this product, you're seeing investors, and you having meetings so usually the investors are usually uh older men. So they come to your office or come to where where they beating you up, and then they see what's on your desk. Now, if you don't see, if they don't see a picture of you with a child and a woman, they're gonna turn right back around and not do an investment. Okay, so when I'm talking about older black men in this regard, they do the same thing, but in different ways. How older Asian men do to younger Asian men, and how older black men, especially in that black church, especially them niggas in that who's on the street corner, they do that to younger black men. Oh, you can't, you don't have this, so therefore you don't deserve to have that type of attitude. Oh, there's a prerequisite for success. You're not successful, you're not successful until you have a woman. We're not going to give you success. We're going to deny you success. We're going to deny you a promotion. We're going to deny you all these things solely because you don't have a woman, a wife, I mean, a wife, a fiance, a girlfriend, and there's no litter of children. And then these same people today are wondering why Asian men, black men, white men, who of a certain age are not really um are not looking good in their eyes, and then they want to know why there is a male loneliness epidemic. They never really sit there and understand why there is a male academic crisis. But because a man is supposed to have a baby, supposed to be married, and supposed to have a wife at age 35, and I'm sorry, at the age 25, you're going to block his blessings. You're going to block his talent from receiving his talent, all because of women, all because he didn't have no woman, rather than giving him his blessings because of his talent and because of his drive. See, some men got successful, use their wealth, and you know before they get married. See. Too many people believe society should work. There's a once. Everybody thinks that there's this black white, one size fits all mentality, right? And engaging with engaging with women. Some men have to work harder than others. All right. Some men have to slay that dragon in order to get what he wants. Some men don't have to slay that dragon to get what he wants. But the problem is older men want, these older blue pill. I'm gonna these are blue pill men. They want. Oh, what's going on here? I see in the chat room. Um, they want you to do the steps that they have taken when those steps is not readily available, for whatever the reason is. For whatever the reason is, it's not readily available. And some of these older men can't sit there and grasp that concept. And that's why some guys are tired of trying to prove themselves to to whatever trying to prove themselves to that community that he lives in. Okay, he has to prove himself. Now, and that's a um, I'm trying to be deep and I'm trying to be I'm trying to look at this from more of a philosophical way. But again, men are tired. That's why men are walking away. So you can't sit there and say it's because of feminism or is it because of women. Women, I wish people will stop making it about dating as if dating is the only um as the only goal or only reason. It's more than that. It's more about being It's more about being acceptance by society or accepted by the community in large. You know, and so yeah, that's what I blame it on. I blame it on these older men within the black community, within the Asian community as well. Men across the board, right? I'm talking about the older ones who will come into your office, who will come into your office, and they look at your picture, and if they don't see a woman hugging up against you, and there's children surrounding you and her, then therefore you're automatically a loser, and they're not going to give you, they won't invest in you, you know. So yeah, that's what I believe was going on. Um, um, and it's a reality, and that's why that man made that video said he's 44 years old and he's done. He actually said that he made that video called "I'm 44 years old and I'm done." You know, and he's right because you spend all this time trying to prove yourself, and then they wonder why though things ain't working out. Your life is almost over with at this point. Now, the only difference between me and him, right? Only difference between me and him is that you know he managed to, um without saying so much. The only difference between me and him is he's white, I'm black, and he got kids, I don't. That's probably one of the few um differences I have with him, right? But 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 I think the point is you're seen as a threat to older men. Um, and this is where I blame patriarchy at, and I try to explain that patriarchy is actually is just a pyramid, right? Patriarchy is a pyramid. You know, you always hear women talk about, it's a um um I'm sorry, I was distracted by what's in the chat room. Uh, King Pigs, how come you're not on DJ Witch Doctor's channel? He's live. I just left though because I'm just gonna say what I got to say over here because um this idea of penis envy and vagina envy. Now DJ Witch Doctor is right. There are some men who have vagina envy. Okay. Oh, okay. You left there too. Okay. So vagina envy versus penis envy. Um, both does exist, and I'm gonna say this right now. DJ Witch Doctor is a breath of fresh air, but at the same time, him being a breath of fresh air in his space, I don't want him to become another Sharon or another Brownsville. I hope he does not, um, you know. And when I say that, I don't want to become I don't want that channel to be bogged down with the bullshit. You know, I don't respect the guy. He's watching Miles Cunningham, David, who's a scammer. Oh, okay, okay. Well, but anyway, I just but anyway, back to patriarchy being a scheme, a pyramid scheme. And I try to explain this over and over and over again to Queen Sunkiss, right? I try to explain this, right? And it's how is I'm gonna use this again. It's and what Asian men do to younger Asian men, and how black men do to younger black men. That's a good example of the pyramid scheme, right? Of patriarchy. The top level, the top part of the pyramid, the top 10% will like create these rules that that's that's so evolving that you know they create rules that one they themselves could not follow, or them rules are so strict that it can't bend to the times. And then they try to enforce these rules on the younger upcoming boys and young boys who are transitioning into men. You know, giving out outdated information. See, the problem is women are not to blame here. You know, um, older men are, and the real fight. What the managers should be concerned about is what older men do to younger men. Gatekeeping, the constant gatekeeping, the constant, um, you know, denying the resources, or taking away younger men's resources from him. So denying him denying him awards that what he accomplished. So that's the problem here. Older Asian men. That's why when it comes to the manosphere, and me being observing the manosphere as a whole, the only two groups of the manosphere that does the hardest are the Asians and black men. Asian men and black men do the hardest when it comes to the manosphere. Never mind about like the white dudes, I mean the white dudes are, they're doing their thing, right? But when it comes to the Asians and the blacks, they are the hardest. I mean, if you sit down and listen to them, and you know, and I for one have to agree on why some of them, and I said some of them, why some of them are the way they are. Because like see again, I say I witnessed some of the bullshit too. But the problem is women are really not the problem. Feminism is really not the problem. The problem is older men trying to deny access. All right, and that's why I have a problem with Kevin. Okay, I have a problem with Kevin Samuels on this issue. Kevin wanted to tell younger men work more than 80 hours a week. Work more than 80 hours a week. You know, work like 120 or some a week. And all of that. Make you need to have yourself a second job. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now that might sound good though, concerning the economy and how people, you know, but you're not gonna have that 20-something-year-old. He's not gonna have a social life at this point. Because if he works 12 hours at one job and he works another, let's just say 4 hours, you know, that's 16 hours a day, he's not gonna have the time to go out and be social. And to be social, you have to, you have to get with, you have to meet, you know, there's women. If you have a social life, there's access to women. A lot of you ignorant ass niggas was doing that shit. Then he turned around talking about though he wants a 17-year-old. No, I'm sorry, an 18-year-old wife. Now that should tell you at this point, Kevin is competing against you for the access of the women within your age group, your age range. So there always have been older men versus younger men, and this is what I was trying to tell y'all. I was trying to tell Queen Sun Kids about the pyramid scheme that is patriarchy. The rich men will create this facade of, you know, they'll create these rules that nobody can follow. You can't really follow those rules because when you're going by them same rules, it's not really going to work out for you at the other end. You know. So, hold on. This guy, hold on. This Negro going to tell me in the chat room, patriarch has nothing to do with rich and poor. Nigga, have you ever? Okay, I'm gonna ask you something. Since you said that, right? Have you ever heard a book called "The Wealth of Nations"? I'm gonna say that again. Have you ever read the book called "The Wealth of Nations"? Now come back to me when you're done. Okay, come back to me when you are done. All right. Come back to me and tell me about patriarchy has nothing to do with who's rich and who's poor. All right. Like you might want to know where see a lot of y'all in this space really don't read. Y'all really don't. Y'all really don't look, y'all only do these surface level stats. And in them stats that y'all keep on repeating among yourselves, it's outdated. Okay? It's really is outdated. But if you actually read that book called The Wealth of Nations, is telling you a pyramid scheme, capitalism, along with patriarchy. They do the same thing. Um, Again, you know, well, the thing is, you might have more books than I do, but are you reading them? I mean, I remember when everybody you used to do that. Well, I got the 48 laws of power. I remember years ago, everybody keep showing that book, 48 laws of power, and and none of these niggas in this site in this part of YouTube never practiced what was in that book. Just because you have the book doesn't mean though you read it. You know, I see Sugar Bomb talk in there talking shit. So no, you got that idea from somebody else. No, patriarchy is a pyramid scheme, just as capitalism. Older men try to gatekeep younger men, and that's prevalent in the Asian community. That's prevalent in the black community. But the problem is, black men don't understand. Because though they look at black women and how black women are doing this, you know, being over, how black women being so over dramatic. They're thinking it's black women doing all this lead work against them. They're not looking at the older men who is really doing the dirt. You know. Well, I tell you what. Since though you are a manosphere nut, thinking out loud, you ask Anger Man why though he got that book called the 48 Laws of Power, and it is it's in paperback form. How come there's no crease in that book? Ask Anger Man how come on all the books he owns there's no crease? Because usually if you have a paperback book, and if you read it a lot, use that book a lot of times, you see creases on there. So stop the cap. Go ask him that. Because I can tell by look at the front of the book that it's being read, and he's not reading that book. He's just showing it so y'all can be, oh my God, he's intelligent. Anyway, you know, what's going on, Pierre? I don't know about So I hope things going well for you. Um, maybe because though he unblocked on his channel. I guess you forgot about that part. But maybe you might want to ask him about why though his books not there's no creases in his books on his covers. You might want to go ask him about that part. But anyway, um, so anyway, that's all I'm going to say for right now. Um, I'm feeling better than I was this this morning. Um, I'm not in pain like I was. Uh, yeah, I'm not in pain, and that was, you know, all I need was some sleep, and I'm gonna take my ass right back to sleep in a minute. I'm taking my black ass right on back to sleep and close my eyes because I was disturbed. Somebody had to call me on the phone, so um, asking me what I'm gonna do on Thanksgiving and shit. You should just I'm not going to. Well, anyway, that's a personal issue. I shouldn't talk about personal issues over here. But anyway, um, yeah. So I'm gonna get off of here. Um, right. Shots about Angry Man barely reads. What's the fucking what? The nigga don't even read. You know, he don't even read at all. Yet though y'all follow him as if though see that y'all think that tough guy act is leadership. Y'all think him being a tough guy that's supposed to be leadership. Yeah. Oof. And it doesn't make any sense. He ain't no leader. He wants to be y'all's leader. And I'm gonna say something too though, while I'm here. Right? The reason why a lot of men, especially Anger Man, is not being a respected, and this is what he will never get. Right? This was something he will never understand. Anger Man will never understand this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say why though he's not being respected. And no, outside of the him being an asshole, outside of him being trying to be something that he's not, outside of all of that, right? Outside of the other reasons why he's not being respected, the other reason why he's not being respected is for one is this: people want solutions, not talking points. Why I'm bringing up his name because he is my enemy. That's why he's an enemy, and he's a prime example of why I have a problem with the manosphere. But anyway, the point I'm making is you can't be talking about the same old shit, and then you're thinking that what you said on YouTube is supposed to galvanize society. You know what you said on social media is changing America. No, policy change society. Not you being not you hitting the record button and upload a video or press that go live button. Activism is what it is. Actual activism and lobbying, those two are the real things. You know, just come on YouTube and say black women are bitches and black women are hoes. That's not moving no needle. And besides, though, nobody, man or woman, are not benefiting of you coming online, being all extra. Excuse me, being all extra and trying to what's the term? You trying to shame, blame, and explain. And yes, though, Anger Man is an arch enemy, and y'all keep allowing him to get away with the shit. But anyway, that's a prime example. That's why he's not being respected. People, people want at this point, people want problems to be solved, right? And if men are problem solvers, you supposed to be solving that particular problem. You know, that problem supposed to be fixed already. If you've been here 5, 6, 7, 8+ years, you're supposed to fix that problem already. So I already got my policies. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. Why you? Let me ask you something. Since though you said this stupid shit like this, and and you so you so I'll put it like this to you. Why you think I do political interviews for? Why you think I do political interviews for? Why you think I ask certain questions though? Now, my solution is bring back the Public Works Administration, uh, and things like that for young men and boys, uh, expand create a rural make farming, uh, make sure the rural areas are friendly for young people. Not everybody should just move to the large cities. I think if people start do more farming, young men would have if you don't have a law degree, if you can't get a degree you know in this, that, and the third, I think farming should be promoted. I also think though, uh, we need to have more ways for introducing training within high school. For plumbing, welding, that types of jobs. Training in that starting in high school. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? I really don't give a fuck. I don't want y'all to know who I am. Why doesn't see why won't y'all ask that question, Anger Man? What have you done, Anger Man? What have you done, BJS? Y'all never really asked BJS who he is or what he has done. Yet you come over to my channel with that dumb that with that que- I know, I know, I know, right? And the thing is, we got to start making small towns attractive again. We got to start making small towns attractive again because not everybody is going to go all cramped up in these large cities, and you can't really feed yourself if things go hard when things are when things are not going well, because food prices going up. Well, with an acre or two of land, you could at least feed at least feed yourself at least. If you do you do diligence and try to grow something out there, or try to raise something out there. I know. I mean, get your doves and chickens at least. You might have eggs in the next 4 or 5 months. Man, like, you may not be like you may be starving. You might be broke as hell. You might have a negative in your bank account, but at least you can go outside and gather some eggs. At least make a meal or two out of it. You know, and I also think that people live in the cities. Y'all doing this service, not things that's being lost. You know, Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't want y'all to know me. I don't want y'all to know me. That's the point. Because the thing is, I view some of y'all as an enemy anyway. I view a lot of y'all as the ops, the enemy, as a threat. So don't ask that stupid ass question. I already I view a lot of most of you niggas as the fucking enemy. The less you know, the less you know, the better. As far as I'm concerned. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. A tractor car costs more than a car. Yes, you're right, right. But but like you can, you can get a used tractor though. You know, a used tractor is cheaper though than a used car. Now, if you buying it brand new, yeah, you yeah, a tractor, a brand new tractor costs more than a brand new car. But if you um but a used tractor costs less than a used truck. Well, if you want to call this babbling, yes, I'm just here just to babble. Next, I'm just here to babble. And at least what I'm babbling about is based upon some research and based upon some actual life experiences and not some oh I'm just mad because some woman. And plus though, yeah, and George, right. And George, right. Yeah, and George, yeah. Because do you know how much co-ops, the co-ops, the electric bills, all of that can actually decrease if you had a farm, your electric bill will be low. Like that time, I remember one time I paid $50 a month, $50 a month on electric bill. That was like 4 years ago. Now it was about like 70 now, 70, 80 now. Off for a minute. I was trying to right. Nigga, please. You won't even challenge BBGS. You're right. I don't need a racist white woman to be used as a tool, right? I don't need a racist white woman to be used as a tool. All right. But anyway, I'm done talking to you right now. I have enough right now. But anyway, this is how that's all I gotta say for tonight about the idea of proving oneself, and this is really the driving force behind the loneliness, academic, the loneliness academic that's going on. So hold on, inactive. What's going on with you? Hello to you. But anyway, I'm gonna jump off here, and that's all I'm going to say for right now. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna be live today. I mean tomorrow, I should say. I don't know if I'm gonna be live tomorrow, or so I don't know yet. So y'all have a good one, and I'm out.
I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.